Ladies and gentlemen, this next bout is scheduled for 4 rounds in the lightweight division. Cuatro asaltos peso ligero. The 3 judges scoring, Los Tres Jueces, Roger Crenshaw, Brandon Hughes, and Kyle Thompson. Once again, your referee in charge, referee Marvin Whittemore. Introducing first, he'll be fighting out of the blue corner. In La Esquina Azul, he weighed in at 134 pounds, and he entered the ring wearing black and white. Tonight, he makes his professional debut. Esta noche es su debut profesional de Atlanta, Georgia, introducing Luis Hernandez. And his opponent fighting out of the red corner. In La Esquina Roja, he weighed in 135 pounds, and he's wearing blue trimmed in white. His professional record, he is unbeaten with 4 victories, no defeats, all 4 wins by knockout. Su récord, 4 ganados, 0 derrotas, con 4 victorias por knockout de Victorville, California. Ladies and gentlemen, here is Danny Boy Jimenez.
Both of you receive my instruction in the dressing room. Obey my commands at all times. Protect yourself at all times. Any questions here? Questions here? Touch him up. Take some of that grease off his face. All right. Good luck to both.
Let's take a look at the tail of the tape. Daniel Jiminez 4-0. Luis Hernandez making his pro debut. Slight height advantage for Daniel Jiminez. They both come in weighing 135 pounds. Jeff DeForest along with Randall Bailey getting set for our first bout of the evening. This is round number 1 of a scheduled 4-rounder. Randall Bailey, good to have you with us, the former WBA and WBO junior welterweight champion. Pleasure to be working with you, Randall.
Yes, glad to be here.
You've got a guy making his pro debut. That's not an easy thing. A lot of nerves in this first round. What's it like for a guy stepping in there for the first time?
Well, you're stepping in there against a guy with 4 wins already and 4 knockouts, so could be a little nervous coming in for your first fight against a guy with 4 knockouts.
Luis Hernandez in the black trunks. Starts out kind of quickly. He's way on the outside and looks like he's trying to gather himself a little bit and make some kind of a go of it in his pro debut. Missing badly with most of his punches. A lot of wide shots.
Fighting a guy with 4 knockouts. This guy used to knocking people out, so he's probably coming out trying to knock this guy out knowing that it's his pro debut.
Daniel Jiminez from Victorville, California in the blue trunks, trying to establish the jab and perhaps set the pace for this fight. Huge experience edge. As you said, coming in there against a guy that already has 4 knockouts on his resume, you got to figure that Luis Hernandez is going to look tough.
Yeah, not the way to start out for a young kid, but he look like he's doing pretty good to me.
Trying to throw that uppercut, right side. Both guys are the classic right-handed fighters in the right-handed posture to start the fight. He was trying to dictate with the jab, and it looked like Luis Hernandez, after a minute and a half, has settled down somewhat.
Yes, he's starting to slow down a little bit and just work the jab a little bit, try to pick his shots a little better.
A little bit wide, though, with his punches, and that can be dangerous.
Especially against a puncher like Jimenez.
Minute and change to go in the first round, the pro debut for Luis Hernandez. As Daniel Jiminez tries to dig in once again with the jab, and you see that Luis Hernandez is missing badly and leaving himself vulnerable, wide open perhaps for a couple of power shots, and especially that left hand.
Jimenez is staring right in his face trying to land a big shot, so Hernandez better keep his hands up.
The third man in the ring is Marvin Whittemore, Louisville, Kentucky, and a big left hand, and there's a taste of professional boxing there for Luis Hernandez right here in round 1.
I wish Hernandez could have heard me when I told him to keep his hands up.
It's a fabled thing, a classic mistake that you see all the time. Of course, the greatest fighter ever out of Louisville was known for keeping his hands around his waist, and that, of course, Muhammad Ali.
Yeah, it's only one Muhammad Ali.
And right now, neither of these guys are reminding us of the great Muhammad Ali, but Jimenez is doing his thing. He's got the 4 straight knockouts and perhaps a promising pro career underway as we're inside 10 seconds in round number 1 of the scheduled 4-rounder in the lightweight division. And a good exchange to end the round. The rules of the Kentucky Athletic Commission in play here. The 10-point must system is in effect. 3 knockdown rule not in effect. There will be no standing 8 count. Fighter cannot be saved by the bell, including the 12th and final round. In the corner of Luis Hernandez, and he's got the ring rust and the shakes maybe a little bit out of his system as he's seeing bullets fly live for the first time.
Yeah, Hernandez should be pretty good for the second round because he didn't look like he was that nervous in the first round.
A replay of some of the action in round number 1. You see Hernandez digging a couple of body shots, and that perhaps was his shining moment in that round. I thought Daniel Jiminez won the round handily with that last exchange.
Yeah, he did, but they both was working pretty good.
Luis Hernandez feeling a little bit of fatigue. It's a big step up in company, huh? When you go from sparring in the gym and maybe an amateur career to finally fighting your first pro round. But he's got it under his belt. Here's round 2 of the scheduled 4-rounder in the lightweight division. Jimenez in the blue trunks with the white trim, and Luis Hernandez is in the black trunks.
I see Jimenez is coming out using his jab.
Seems to be the more composed of the two. You would figure that would be the case. And might be a little bit quicker with both hands. Establishing the jab real well. Very effective with the jab. And he's got Hernandez looking a little bit sloppy with his footwork also.
Yeah, the jab.
Daniel Jimenez, 4 consecutive knockouts to begin his career. Trying to pepper Hernandez a little bit with the jab. Action slows down a little bit in the center of the ring.
Jimenez done stopped using his jab very fast. I think he should go back to it, setting up a lot of good shots.
Appears to be the stronger of the two fighters. As Luis Hernandez is still trying to figure out exactly what to do in terms of throwing punches and combinations. Seems to be missing, not exactly an accurate puncher either in this early portion of the fight.
Well, Hernandez first time in the ring under these kind of lights. You can only expect that from him.
See a little bit of redness around the nose and the mouth area of Luis Hernandez. As the stronger puncher appears to be Jimenez. They start to mix it up now with a minute and a half to go in round 2.
Jimenez is starting to pick it up on him in the second round.
Pace of the fight being dictated by Daniel Jiminez. And very effective with that jab round.
Yeah, that's going to be the key for Jimenez.
Good right hand that time by Daniel Jiminez. Who's dominating now as we have 1 minute to go in round number 2.
Yeah, you can see he got good power. But if he used that jab a lot more, he can set up his power shots a lot easier.
Punching well in combinations. That left-right combination has been effective for him. A good weapon so far. Oh, and a powerful left hand by Daniel Jiminez as he rocks Luis Hernandez. Says, welcome to the pro sport.
Yes, sir.
A little concern about Luis Hernandez with the blood coming from his nose. The flow is a little bit more frequent than it was in round number 1. Another right hand gets through. And Jimenez is just beating Hernandez to the punch.
Yeah, the blood is a sign of a good jab that's working.
Big round here for Daniel Jiminez. These 4-rounders are tough. Can't afford to make too many mistakes.
Yeah, Jimenez is starting to take over this fight.
Dominant performance here in round number 2 of the scheduled 4-rounder in the lightweight division, as Daniel Jiminez is looking every bit as good as his undefeated record indicates. Another big exchange at the end of the round.
Good round for Jimenez.
It really was an excellent round for Daniel Jiminez. You can see why he has knockouts on his resume already. Sometimes you'll find a fighter gets in a little bit light and they establish a big record, and it turns out that he's not an effective puncher later on in his career. But Daniel Jiminez right now looks every bit the real deal.
Yes, he's punching very good, using his jab and punching behind it.
22 years old. Very promising future for Daniel Jiminez off what we saw in round number 2.
Well, we're looking at Jimenez right now.
Standing in front of him. When you're ready to punch, then you get in front of him. You're waiting.
See too much in that exchange. They're complaining that Jimenez is standing in front of Luis Hernandez. Seems to me that he's doing just fine, whatever tactic he chooses to go with.
Well, with an undefeated kid,
All right, here's round number 3 of a scheduled 4-rounder. Jeff DeForest, Randall Bailey with you. We're in Louisville, Kentucky for the 3rd annual Louisville Slugfest. Good to have Randall Bailey with us, the former junior welterweight champion of the world, had the title on 2 occasions. A lot of great fights. Randall, you can relate to a guy being a one-punch knockout fighter. It appears Jimenez might have that ability.
Yeah, he might have that ability, but he's still have to work off his jab.
Hernandez trying to force the action a little bit. Makes a couple of good left hands
shot,
to the body.
good shot.
So lost art body punching in the pro game today. Jimenez dominated round 2. Neither fighter has been down. And Hernandez hard pressed to land anything of any significance through the first couple of rounds of this fight.
I like the fact that Jimenez has slowed down a little bit and working his jab with combinations.
Seems to be settling on his punches.
Yes.
Good fast jab, man. Demonstrates the ability to throw that 1-2 combination.
Yeah, he's not just looking for one punch no more.
See what kind of finisher he is as we're approaching the midway part of round 3 of this scheduled 4-rounder in the lightweight division. Nothing lightweight about that. Another solid body shot with the left hand.
That was a hard punch right there.
Exchange there, and Luis Hernandez finally got one in. I think that was his most telling blow of the fight. Blood still flowing from the nose. Hard right hand, partially blocked, but some of that was effective. And we see Luis Hernandez pop the mouthpiece out as Whittemore got in there between the 2 fighters.
That's a good sign right there. That Jimenez is working his body pretty good.
It's something a lot of young fighters just don't do enough of, Randall. Actually, a lot of older fighters don't do enough of that. Going to the body.
Well, I didn't do enough of it when I was younger.
Now the right hand coming in with lightning quickness, and a roundhouse left almost scores for Daniel Jiminez.
Jimenez is opening up.
Looks like he's trying to put the finishing touches on this one, but Hernandez showing some machismo, some bravado, as he's willing to mix it up a little bit.
Yeah, Hernandez is coming to fight. He didn't come to lay down.
Right on the chin, just missed being directly on the button there. Jimenez coming in with a couple of bombs here as we're inside the final minute of round number 3. Jimenez has the better footwork, the better composure, the more experience, and right now he's winning this fight handily.
Yeah, easy.
Blood from the nose has been contained. We also see some blood from the mouth, and another wicked right hand gets in. Approaching 10 seconds, round number 3, scheduled for 4. Hernandez looks awkward coming forward. Tries to throw a lead right hand, and that could have been a big mistake.
Well, I'm pretty sure he feels that he's down on the card. Oh!
2 big shots by Jimenez, and Hernandez had to feel both of those. Came in like a ton of bricks. 10 seconds to go in the 3rd round. And it's been a nightmare so far for Luis Hernandez in his pro debut.
Well, this last round, I'm looking for Hernandez to come out swinging, because he know he's down in the fight. Hernandez is winning every round.
Dominating performance so far for Daniel Jiminez. The final round is coming up. Jimenez out of Victorville, California, kind of a sleepy town in the desert north of Los Angeles. And a place that's been the home and the origin of a lot of tough fighters fighting out there on the LA circuit.
Mexicans are very tough. I fought a couple, and you can't say enough about them. They are tough fighters.
Known for their stamina and their ability to come on late and ability to take a punch. You can never count them out, as you said, but you have to get off to a good start if you're going to be involved in these prelims, these 4-round fights. No time to waste, and every round is so critical, so important if you're going to go to the scorecards.
Yeah, Jimenez is just more talented than Hernandez in this fight right now.
All right, they'll touch gloves as we get set for round number 4. This is the 4th and final round. Marvin Whittemore is the 3rd man in the ring. So far, it's been a shutout being pitched by Daniel Jiminez, and he's picked up the pace in each succeeding round. That was a huge right hand. Technically sound, fundamentally sound, Daniel Jiminez impressing the crowd here in Louisville tonight.
Like I said, I knew Hernandez was probably going to come out swinging this round. He got to know he's down on the card.
Some of the sting of those early punches in the 2nd and 3rd round has to be taking a toll on the legs of Luis Hernandez. He appears to be a tired fighter. Game, but a little bit fatigued.
Yeah. Talent-wise, Jimenez is the better talent.
Luis Hernandez potentially dangerous, though, with some of his counterpunches. He just hasn't thrown enough of them, and that's something you constantly hear from cornermen when watching fights, analyzing fights. Let the hands go. And he hasn't been able to do that because Jimenez has smothered him throughout the fight, fighting mostly on the outside.
With nice jabs. Nice jabs, set up everything.
Trying to close it out. Daniel Jiminez hasn't let Luis Hernandez do much of anything offensively in this fight. He's been tasting leather since the opening bell of round number 1.
Oh,
another good combination by Daniel Jiminez. He's starting to put things together on a higher level.
Yes, I sensed that in the second round when he came out, he was throwing a lot more punches and putting a lot of more combinations together.
Shooting that jab with piston-like precision. Able to follow up with 2 and 3 punch combinations, the kind of thing you usually see from a more experienced fighter. Approaching a minute to go in the 4th and final round. This is our first bout of the evening, and it's been a showcase so far for the talents of Daniel Jiminez. Promising looking lightweight. And his game, but he's going to have to go back to the gym and work on a lot of things.
Well, it's his pro debut. He got a lot of time.
You can hear the thud of those punches all the way in the back rows.
Jimenez is just battering him right now.
And he's in trouble as Jimenez lands a couple of more bombs. Complaining about a headbutt. And Whittemore separates him, doesn't pay too much attention to Jimenez's plea. I don't think it's going to be a factor in the fight. Hernandez pawing away, and Jimenez is making him pay for
he's paying for everything.
Not throwing punches with conviction. Real impressive performance here by Daniel Jiminez. He looks like a guy that has a future in the game.
Yes, he looked like he could go far, but it's still early in his career.
Just 22 years old. And we have 10 seconds to go. Looks like this one's going to go to the scorecards, and you'd have to figure, Randall, it's a shutout as he rips another left hand just to put an exclamation point on this fight. Good performance by Daniel Jiminez.
Yes, Jimenez looked excellent in this fight.
Jeff DeForest working with Randall Bailey, the former junior welterweight champion of the world, and it's interesting to see how you would feel about being on the other side of the pencil. As you used to take care of business. You didn't like to see the thing go to the judges' scorecards, but in this case, how did you see the fight, Randall?
I gave every round to Jimenez. You know, he came out first round stalking, and the second round he kind of slowed down and started working off the jab. And when I saw that, I kind of knew he was probably going to settle down and start working off the jab, landing a lot more clean combinations on his kid.
I don't think there's too much doubt as to what the result would be. This would come under the heading of one of the biggest shockers if somehow Luis Hernandez got the decision in this fight. And I don't think there's much question that Daniel Jiminez won all 4 rounds of this one, and it should be unanimous that way on all the scorecards.
Yes, most definitely.
Tough way to start it out. Ran into a little bit of a buzzsaw, Luis Hernandez. You might want to go back and question his promoter or manager and say, what are you doing throwing me in there for the first time against a guy with this kind of ability?
Well, Hernandez was game. He didn't come to lay down. He did come to fight.
Judges tabulating the scorecards, and we'll have a decision. Jake Gutierrez is standing by with the call.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 4 rounds of lightweight action, we go to the scorecards. We have a unanimous decision. Judge Roger Crenshaw, Brandon Hughes, and Kyle Thompson all scored about the same, 40-36. For the winner by unanimous decision, he's still undefeated, Danny Boy Jimenez.